Hey guys, wanted to share this tutorial of how to make the sandpaper effect here. We can try to just do the exact same thing here, but let's see if we can make it look any better. Okay, so here I have a bit. It's a Dremel. I modeled it in Solidworks, and um, it's just this sanding bit here. So the first thing I want to do is that I want to apply an existing material. So right now it's empty, it's blank, right? It's the material graph. So I looked up the mold text, and the one that I think is suitable for the sanding bit is MT11530. So just drag and drop it. You see it has that sandpapery texture to it. It's pretty smooth, but we're gonna change that. So this is the base material. We double click on it. We go to material graph, and let's see. So the roughness is that. So we're gonna increase it to 1. We want it to be rough, and we decrease the samples. It makes it look more grainy and makes it look more realistic. And let's see. We're gonna also make the texture, the triplanar thing, smaller. So let's do 2. Okay, we can. Okay, so if you press C, you can see your texture, your material like that in a black and white mode kind of thing. So if we decrease this, you see it's changing. So let's do 1.5 for the width, and that should be good. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's too much. Let's do 175 for the width. I think that's no. 1.6. I think this should be good so far. So the next thing you want to do, well, first of all, you want to have a picture of a sanding bit or a sanding paper handy here to just look at it and then just copy the same material and the same texture. So now what I want to do, I want to add a mesh here. So as I said, you can press C to see your material / texture. You see these dots, they're way too big, so we're gonna change the diameter to say 0.005. You see how small they are now? And we're gonna change the pattern spacing to 0.006 perhaps. Okay, so that's too much. Oh, also before we forget, we're gonna turn on the cylinder. We're gonna change the mapping type to cylinder instead of box. And mapping type is basically how it's gonna wrap the texture or material around your object. So I don't know what's going on here. So we're gonna increase these here. Maybe cylinder isn't a very let's do a UV. A UV also warps it a little bit, so let's do a sphere, perhaps. No. A cylinder should be fine. Oh, there we go. Okay, cylinder is fine. So we're gonna change the diameter to say that's because that's way too big. To 0.004 perhaps, and we're gonna decrease this to say 0.007. We're gonna increase the fall off to 1. So fall off is the amount of fading. You see how it's fading to the surrounding area, and we're gonna change the gear and the distortion of it, so they're not perfect circles anymore, and that's exactly what we want. Not this one. So you see, these are not perfect circles. So maybe we should increase this a little bit. And maybe we should decrease that. Or increase it a bit. Okay. And the gear, it's not a flat pattern anymore, it's just like it messes things up and just makes it look more random, which is what we want. We can come back to it and we can make some other changes here. So we're just going to press C again. Now we have to apply this mesh to a texture, and then we have to apply that texture to our bit as a label or material. So we're gonna do a plastic, and I'm gonna connect this to the bump and the opacity, and we're gonna do label. So you can see the opacity is wrong. We want it the other way around, right? So we click on this branch thing, and we go to utilities. We do a color invert. So now the black dots are actually white, and the white background is actually black, and that's what we want, right? So this is what we have right now. The roughness, let's see. It's not as rough as the background, so maybe we can do 0.5-ish. Okay, we can change that later. So we go to Multec Plastic. We want to change the color. We want the reddish, the dark reddish color. So if you didn't know, you can go to the color and you can pick a color from anywhere on the screen, like literally anywhere. So you see. So we go here, maybe, no, that's orange. This should be good, I think. Yep, it's good. Okay, so it's 63, 69, 58. We're just gonna copy that 63, 69, what was it, 68? I think. Okay. No, it was 58. I think it can be darker actually. So let's just 65, and let's change this to 65. Okay, this is better. Okay, this is better. So you can see we're getting that that effect that we were looking for. The dots should be lighter, perhaps. Yeah. This should be lighter. I think we have to play with the roughness. Let's do 1. Let's do 0.5. 0.1. So that's too much. 0.1 is too much. It's 2.4. Okay, we're getting there. I see. It's not there yet. You want it to be lighter, or I mean, you want it to be smoother. So let's do 3. Let's do 20.25. Yeah, I think this is better. It's also my lighting that may be affecting. Okay, we're just gonna stick with this lighting, with this environment. Okay, so we have that. The roughness is 0.25. So I encourage you to play with the materials and like all the options and all the settings. So we have this, and on some bits you see a line here. I think it's like on the other side of this sanding bit. So we're just gonna do it anyways. So it's one thing that some people don't know is that you can change this mesh material to a line or to like squares or to hexagons or things like that. So we're just gonna duplicate it and double click on it, and let's see. Okay, so shape here, we click on this and then you see an ellipse, triangle, square, blah blah blah, and line. You want the line, right? So since it's all distorted, this is the line that we get. We don't want this. So since I did that before, I already know some of the numbers. So where is it? Diameter. So okay, there we go. So this should be 0.03, and the spacing should be 5. You want the spacing to be 5. You want only one line in the middle of the bit. And the angle should be 140, 141. Okay, let's see. And we make this 0, 0, 0. And we get this weird line, which I don't want. So I believe we should change this to, say, planar. Box, no, planar. Or UV actually. Perhaps not UV. Let's do a planar. And there we go. Don't worry about the top part, we're gonna change that. So we want a line something like that. So what I did, I just changed the mapping top to planar, and I played with the settings here. Just gonna do 0, or no, 2. Okay, that's fine. And we're just gonna change it to 19. The fall off is okay, I think. Okay, let's see. So we want it to be yellow, and so we're gonna do the exact same thing that we did with the other one. So we're just gonna duplicate this one, bump and opacity, and we're just gonna apply this to our main material as a label. It's already showing here, but that's not what we want. What do we want? We want this to be yellowish kind of thing. Not that. This one. Okay. So again, we're gonna pick this color here. Okay. All right. So again, we're gonna have to add a color invert node on it. So we click on the branch, we go to utilities, color invert, and that's what we get. So it's way too thick, I agree with myself. We change this to 0.1. This is better, not there yet. That's too much. Okay, let's do 75. Okay, this should be good. And also we change the roughness to 1. And we should change the bump height to minus. Let's go extreme. See what it looks like. Don't see a lot of change actually. And also we have to change this one too. I forgot to change the bump height to something higher. Okay, so this is what we have so far. That's too greenish. We don't want that. We want it to be more yellow. Okay, I think this is good. One, not this one, this one, okay. So I think we have to decrease the fall off a little bit. Let's do 0.375. And I think that's too low. This is getting there. Okay, so we're just gonna leave it at that right now. So this is what like organizes all the knots. So the next thing we want is these no hairs. You see, you see those? It depends on the Dremel bit or the sanding bit. But some of them have more hairs than the other ones. It's like a little fuzz kind of thing. So thankfully Keyshot has a fuzz knot. So where is it? Let me find it first. There we go, fuzz. Okay. So this is a geometry knot. So it takes a lot of your computer's processing power. Okay, so let's see. This is we're just gonna attach this knot to the geometry part of this our material, and you can play with it. As I said, you have to play with it until you get it right. But since I already did, I know some of the numbers. So the length is 003. As you can see, nothing's changing. I'll tell you in a second. The randomness should be 5, and radius should be this is ribbon. Okay, the radius should be 0, 0, 0, 3 zeros. 5, and the density I did 150. The segments 5, max curves, okay. the color. Let's see. We can change the color later. Roughness 1, transmission roughness 1. Okay. So this is gonna take a while. All right, execute geometry now. So when you're done with the settings, you have to click on execute geometry now. That's what we're gonna do. You have to wait. Okay, so now that it's done, don't forget to save it. We can see how it looks. It looks pretty good actually. I think it has to be a little taller, but I think it looks pretty good so far. Let's see. Okay, so let's change the color a little bit. And I'm not going to execute the geometry now because that's going to take a little while. We're going to do it later. So when you're satisfied with the settings, you can go to the next level. So this is the bit so far. And we want this surface to be different than the rest of them because of that. You see, there's a yellow ring on there. There are ways that we can do it. We can change the gradient tool or the gradient thing, gradient node, whatever. But what I suppose what I prefer to do is to just completely separate this surface off. So we can just right click on this and we go to split object surfaces. So let's see. So with this tool we can split the surfaces of a solid. So this is what we have, and so splitting angle. So if you select that one, you can like select like a series of surfaces. It's just like series of polygons. So we just click that one and then split surface, and there we go. Okay, so as you can see, we have two separate surfaces, 1 and 2, right? So we're just gonna apply this, and that's gonna take a while, I think. Yep. Okay, it's done. We have two separate surfaces right now, and they each have their own material. I think they're already unlinked, but we're just gonna unlink them again. Okay, so this is what we want, right? It's a little fuzzier, and there's a fillet here, so we're also gonna do that. So we just double click on the new surface that we just made. We go to material graph. One really easy thing to do is to just unlink these two. There we go. There you have it, right? But we have to change the fuzz. We want it to be a little longer. So I did 0.005, so we're just gonna do 0.006, and the radius, what's the radius? The radius is the same, the density, it's the same. We're gonna change the length variation, so that's like they're not all the same length. So we're gonna do 5. And the roughness, then it's randomness. I think I changed the random. Okay. Transmission, and I think they have to change the color. I'm not sure. Actually, let me double check. I don't think they have to change the color. Actually, it's just like darker. We can do this. We can go a little darker here. Okay. Now again, we have to execute the geometry node. Yep, so that's what we're gonna do.
One eternity later.
Well, my computer crashed and I had to redo some things. But that's what it's gonna look like after a little bit of adjustments to the fuzz node that we did. So I changed the fuzz node to 0.04 and I changed the radius, I think. I changed the density. So as I said, you should be playing with the nodes and the settings. And I think this should be it. It's not perfect, but it works. And as I said, you have to do it until you learn it. So there you have it. Let's see. There we go. All right. Thank you, people, for sticking with me this long. I appreciate it. And if you have any questions, just let me know. And have a good day.